Black Supremacy, Palmetto Star, Ratchet Revolutionary, but you can call me Prophet. What's going on, people? Black Supremacy, y'all. What's going on, people? It's a beautiful day out here in Atlanta. And I just, I'm very thankful for being here because it's been a journey since then. So today on Meditation with the Master, I'm going to talk a little bit about my journey, my personal journey from South Carolina to being in the hip-hop scene, a rapper, to being a American refugee, to journalist, to revolutionary, and to prophet, the road to mastery. So I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about that today because a lot of people don't know my journey. They just tuned in, right now, and I appreciate everybody that's tuning in when they're tuning in, you know what I'm saying? Because that's exactly what it's supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? Like whenever we connect, that's the best time for us to have connected is at that time and at that place and at that moment. But there's been a road to this from journeying this whole journey. So really my spiritual awakening, it's been ever evolving, ever since I was young, you know what I'm saying? So I've been a degree of spiritually awake since I was, young, you know what I'm saying? In 2001 is when I went completely plant-based, when I got the word from the ancestors to sort of go into monk mode. That's how they put it. So I interpreted that as to go into a place of learning, in the place of silence, in a place where I can hear more than speak, you know what I'm saying, and just learn about what's happening right now. So I went into that place. Of that learning place. So I had a lot of hair at that time. I was getting braids. I think at that time I had locks, my manicured locks, not Rasta locks like this. You feel me? No, it wasn't like that. So I went and I at that time I cut all my hair off. I was completely bald, shaved face and all that for years, and a lot of you may remember that, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's going on, Shawanda? But a lot of you may remember that, and how I was clean faced and bald, and that was my monk period. So I went through that. That was, so I started that about 2001. I started going plant-based. I stopped eating meat. And so it continued on. I started doing a lot of stuff in hip-hop, a lot of rapping and stuff like that. But at the same time, I'm doing the rap stuff, you know what I'm saying? I was still doing a lot of black terrorist activity. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. A lot of stuff in the streets. Never was any I never was like a gang member, but I was affiliated with a lot of gangsters. You know what I'm saying? Monticello Road. Shout out to all my folk. All that. You know what I'm saying? So I was always in something. You know what I'm saying? And doing a lot of different things. but I was still learning at the time, you know what I'm saying, and getting involved with a lot of different things. And so, you know, and also I started activism. Like, I started really being an activist with, like, the stuff I was learning. Like, you know, we had different stages of the spiritual awakening. I had put actually a meme out about this brother's spiritual awakening, how, you know, it was dragging him. Y'all, if y'all look at my Instagram, there's a couple posts back, but I had this video where this guy had this spiritual awakening, and how, you know, the spiritual awakening was basically just dragging him, and, you know, put his head in the water and all that stuff like that. And it was like that, you know what I'm saying? You know, the spiritual awakening is nothing sweet. It's not, you know, and you get this automatic enlightenment. It's nothing sweet. What's going on, Copper Goddess? But it's nothing sweet. So my spiritual awakening was very, very harsh. You know what I'm saying? So I was getting involved in a lot of activism. You know, I'm still rapping. You guys remember in Columbia, South Carolina, I had a full band. You know what I'm saying? So I was doing a lot of stuff, man. I was managing music. You know what I'm saying? Managing music, rapping, low key, doing a lot of stuff I shouldn't have been doing. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to even put it out on Instagram. They want to double jeopardy and all sorts of junk like that. So, but yeah. So it came to a point where the activism and the street stuff was getting me a big name out there, and the rapping and all that stuff like that. So I would go to certain places, and the police would just follow me. They would be following me to my shows and stuff like that, doing all this stuff like that. You know, because we were, I was really big into fighting against the private prison industry, and doing a lot of activism that involved that. I have brought Professor Griff out to SC, different things like that. This is all before 2008. So 2008 is when a lot of things had a crescendo mark, and there was a lot of different police confrontations at that time. And there's one police confrontation where they tried to just pull me over on the darkest part of Columbia, South Carolina. You know what I'm saying? Like at the darkest road at like 2 o'clock in the morning. And they tried to just make up some stuff like, you had drugs in the car. I'm like, drugs in the car? No, I don't have any drugs in the car. What are you talking about? And so they were just trying to make up some stuff. I sped out, and we had a police chase around the whole city of Columbia, South Carolina at 120 miles per hour. And I didn't think at that point, I didn't think I was going to make it. At that point, and this is where I started really waking up. See, people say they're woke, but until you die, you can't truly wake up. You know what I'm saying? Until you get to that point where you're like, and that, to me, that's the most important part of the whole Jesus story, is you got to die to live again. You had to die to live again. You know what I'm saying? You can't say you're woke and all this other stuff if you haven't got to that death experience, honestly, where you should have died at that point, and now you're here and you're living in another reality. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I was like, okay, this is the end. I'm about to be dead. You know what I'm saying? I try to pull over and you know what I'm saying, and hit one of my peoples, the mother of their children, their baby mamas, they had stayed on the other side of the street. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna pull over and go over there, jump the fence and go over there. But my car spit out. When I pulled over, my car spit out at 120 miles per hour, right towards the median. You know what I'm saying? And at that point, I took my hands off the wheel. I'm like, okay, it's over. It's over with. You know what I'm saying? I looked in the back seat of my car. I looked like just like this. I looked like in the back seat of my car, and just like you see me, I saw the God Anubis, the god of death, the god of whoever, the person that brings you to that weighs your heart that they talk about. I saw the god Anubis just like you see me right now. So he was sitting in my back seat. I was like, oh, okay. My car did a weird 3-point turn sort of thing. My hands are off the steering wheel now. My hands are completely off the steering wheel. My car did a weird 3-point turn sort of thing. And it just smoothly went towards the median, but I didn't crash, even though I was going 120 miles per hour towards the median. You know what I'm saying? Now this is on YouTube, y'all. If you want to see something supernatural, that's what I'm telling you about. These masters and people talk about they're the gurus and stuff like that. If they not showing you something supernatural, I could show you. I do supernatural every single day. You know what I'm saying? I do this. I change lives every day. I do supernatural stuff every day. But this particular incident, I went right towards the median at 120 miles per hour, and I looked and I saw Anubis in the back seat, and my car just didn't crash for some reason. And if you look at the video, which I'll put the link up later, I don't know how I'll put the link up on here when I'm on this, but yeah, it's on YouTube. If you YouTube Too Raw for TV, Palmetto Star, Police Chase, it'll pop up. Yeah, so the lights were shining on my car. My car was completely in blackness, like it transported into another world for a second. And I jumped out the car, right? And I ran across the highway. You know what I'm saying? They ended up hitting me with the taser from about 50 feet. You know what I'm saying? They ended up hitting me with the taser at 50 feet. My hands were on, because I was planning on going this way, but I knew somebody on the other side too. So I had my, I was climbing the fence. I ran across the highway, ran up the hill, climbing up the fence. And, yeah, I did. I knew about Anubis. I was actually getting into Bobby Hemming and a little bit of stuff like that, right at that moment. You know what I'm saying? Like I started, 2008, I started getting into Bobby Hemming and all that stuff like that. My hands were on the gate. They hit me with a taser from about 50 feet, and I started tumbling down. Right. Of course, there was no drugs in the car. They tried to get me with that. Because of everything that was happening and, my name and all that stuff like that. But there was no drugs in the car. So I ended up spending the night in jail. And they were lying, all sorts of stuff. They were lying. If you see the video, Palmetto Star, Police Chase. Put in hashtag Too Raw for TV, Palmetto Star, Police Chase. Excuse me, y'all. But it'll pop up. And Ski G, what's up? Hold on for 1 second, bro. I got you. Let me just explain this story a little bit. Matter of fact, I got you right now. But we're gonna start. That's where the police chase. That's where my awakening started. I died, came back to life. You know what I'm saying? But Ski G, what's going on? Black Supremacy. Peace, what's going on, fam?
Just tapping in, man. Shit, when I see somebody live and then I see ain't Too Raw for TV, and man, I consider myself to be a trio, and so I can tap in and touch bases with any level of conversation. You know what I'm talking about? Because it's up there with me. You know what I mean?
I feel you, brother. I feel you, family.
So like I was saying, I come in on the ass end. I ain't hearing nothing about you was touching on the police popo chasing shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I was talking about my spiritual awakening, and I actually woke up in a police chase. You know what I'm saying? That's actually on YouTube right now. You know what I'm saying? You could put it on YouTube, Palmetto Star Police Chase. You know what I'm saying? It's on YouTube. My car spit out at 120 miles per hour.
What
I
you was
should have
running for?
because they
What you
were
was running for?
the police were trying to pin some drugs on me.
Where they do that at? Where you was at?
Oh man, Columbia, South Carolina, where they do it every day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Richland County, well known for putting drugs on people.
Well, who was Popo? Was they pink or original?
What's that? Oh, were they
Was the
pink?
Popo
Oh, they know.
or
You know
original? Yeah.
they were Klansmen, man. They were pink,
Oh
straight up.
yeah, nigga. Hey,
You know what I'm
hey,
saying?
hey, look here.
They were
Hey,
Klansmen.
look here. Let me tell you something about that, right? Hey, look. If they coming like that, and you know that's what they do you know that you got the right as a man to protect your freedom at all costs, man? That's
That's
why,
what I did.
motherfucker. That's why it would behoove a motherfucker, man, to keep a camera in your whip and keep that motherfucking fire.
Yeah, but
Period.
this was 2008, so it was a little bit before that. You know what I'm
Don't
saying?
matter when it was. Don't matter when it was. I'm saying just for future reference, nigga,
Oh
keep
yeah,
a
yeah.
camera in your car and some fire, man. You gotta protect yourself, bro. You
Facts.
don't never know when them demons might sit man, the devil might come to try you. You feel me? You gotta keep a sword. You feel me? Nigga, don't let them trick you and tell you, goddamn it, the pen is mightier than the goddamn sword, nigga, cause a pen don't goddamn it do nothing on his own. You feel
Well,
me?
yeah, facts, family.
You gotta know which time to pick up the pen and which time to pick up the sword.
That's right. That's right. I'm well versed in both of them, so you know what I'm saying. Like I get down. I get down with the get down. So that's what it is. But yeah, I appreciate you, family. That's what I'm talking about. So okay, the police chase. I didn't die. Oh, I ended up being the police. I ended up being the charges. The police didn't even show up to the court. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I ended up being. So I
All
ended up.
that all that shit, all crime is commercial, bro. You know what I'm saying? For it to be a crime, it has to be a victim or an injured
Yep.
party. All that bullshit stopping motherfuckers on the street talking about all you did these statutes and codes. That shit only apply to persons, which is a dead man.
Yep.
A
Yep.
person is a dead man.
No
It's
doubt. No
not
doubt,
the living.
family.
That's not the living soul. Anytime you see your name in all capital letters, that's not you that they talking to. That's a fictitious entity that
Oh
they
yeah.
created with the birth
That's that
certificate.
straw
Who don't
man.
know that, bro?
That's that
Who
straw
don't know
man.
that, bro? Where y'all been living ain't up on that little simple shit. You know what I'm saying?
But yeah,
That's why
that's
they
real,
keep us
family.
so
But hold on, let
busy
me
and distracted.
do this, brother, because I wanna let people know exactly what's happening. Okay. But yeah, I still want you to listen in, Ski G. But yeah, so the police chase happened. And at that moment I was like, okay, well, I had a lot of people. I had a big following then on, just street level. It wasn't even anything out, no Twitter, no nothing. I actually just got to Twitter after the police chase. You know what I'm saying? And that's a whole different other story. I'm not talking about the social media stuff. So they wanted to do something. I'm not gonna lie. They were like, cause it was happening. These people were with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, they'd be going to the protests. Doing the demonstrations. I would organize demonstrations. I would have shows because I had a live band. You know what I'm saying? So they wanted to ride. They wanted to ride. They wanted to ride on police at that time. And at that time, I was like, just with the little stuff that we had, I was like, I don't know about that, y'all. I don't know about riding on the police. But I knew if I stayed in Columbia, South Carolina, that somebody just for clout or whatever would do something. And I was like, I don't want to encourage that just by being here. You know what I'm saying? So just by me being there would be encouragement for somebody to pop something off with police. And you know what I'm saying? At that time I was like, man, I don't know if we ready for like that sort of action like that. You know what I'm saying? So I had left. I made a decision. I got my core people, my core devoted people, and we had made the move, the transition from Columbia to Atlanta, which we had a lot of connects out here in Atlanta as well. So once I got to Atlanta, you know, I was still doing the music thing. I was still doing shows out here, but then I was like, you know, I couldn't. I said, you know, I don't want to be on stage. I want to let people know what's happening so we can make some real changes. You know what I'm saying? So I sort of switched gears, shifted gears a little bit, and that's when Too Raw for TV was born. So, you know, that whole idea, actually, it comes from The Revolution Will Not Be Televised, that poem. You know what I'm saying? The revolution will not be televised. That idea of Too Raw for TV. Because I was like, okay, yeah, the revolution is too raw for TV. It won't be televised, you know what I'm saying? So we started with that, you know what I'm saying? You know, I was doing meditate. Oh, another thing I was doing too, alongside with the rapping, the hip hop, I was leading guided meditations. I was doing like chanting meditations in Colombia. So I had a little bit of a following with that too, off the Yahoo group. So you kind of know that, you know, I'm aging myself right there. So you kind of like off the Yahoo groups, I was making, you know what I'm saying, connections, and I had a little bit of a following with the guided meditations and stuff like that. So, you know, a lot of those people, and still, you know, they travel from Colombia to here to meditate with me or whatever. But in any case, so you know, so Too Raw for TV was happening, or it's popping off. You know what I'm saying? I had a 5-year plan with Too Raw for TV. I had a 5-year plan for Too Raw for TV because I wanted to bring people into consciousness. So I knew I had to do that. I knew I had a couple of celebrity connections. I had a couple of celebrity people that I knew. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna utilize these connections, talk to different people in the industry and all that stuff like that, and sort of bring the, you know, have conscious topics and topics talking about consciousness, but also incorporating, you know, different people in the industry and stuff like that, you know. So my first guest was on Def Poetry Jam. A lot of people know, big time shout out to Georgia Me. You know what I'm saying? She was my first guest on the show. One of the guests I had on one of the first episodes was Charlemagne the God. You know what I'm saying? So I had brought him on because I knew him from Columbia, South Carolina. You know, he knew me from the whole hip hop scene and all that stuff, the police chase and all that stuff like that. Everybody knew me from up there. You know, I had him on the show, and I was just bringing in different people that were on reality shows and stuff like that, but we would talk about conscious topics. So my thing was I was going to progressively get more revolutionary with the topics, you know what I'm saying, with the material. So that's what I did. I started to progressively get more you know, more pushing the envelope with the material. So that's what I did. I started pushing the envelope with the material, started to get more progressively you know, into it, you know what I'm saying? And I was doing the sponsors thing. I had a lot of sponsors going, bro. I had a whole team, like it was crazy how we were doing. It was like, you know, it was wild. So, you know, I started getting progressively more, you know, into, you know, progressively pushing the envelope, and, you know, getting poor people revolutionary, because the main goal is to have, you know, black sustainable state. Now, during this time, when I'm doing this plan, I meet up with a lot of you guys know me from, you know, King Noble, his channel, and all that stuff like that. So I meet up with King, you know what I'm saying, and link up with him, you know what I'm saying, And shout out to him, man, because he really put me on the true definition of what black supremacy was. And that really set me off. I was like, oh, that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. That's what, I mean, because it felt like a whole different culture, what we were doing anyway. My people and the whole thing, it was like a whole different feel, a whole different culture. We were completely different. And I'm like, what is this? What am I doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, I knew it was different. I knew it was something that's anti whatever was going on. But I'm like, what am I doing? So, King had put me on to the true definition of black supremacy, which is black people going towards their godhood. Black people going towards their godhood, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, that's what it is, you know what I'm saying? And that true definition of black supremacy, that really sparked everything. I was like, okay, all right, that's what I'm doing. That's what I've been doing. You know what I'm saying? So, now around this time, I had a co-host that had moved from, not Kansas. Where were you from, Lola? Okay. I'm sorry, my bad. Somewhere breadbasket of America. She moved from the breadbasket of America to Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? We were doing shows, doing events. I mean, it was popping. You know what I'm saying? It still is popping, but you know what I'm saying? Like, so she was out here, and at the same time, the Trayvon Martin thing happened. You know what I'm saying? The Trayvon Martin thing happened, where, George Zimmerman had killed Trayvon Martin. And this thing, it really took something out of me. I was like, oh, okay, they're doing it like that now. So, when that happened, when Trayvon Martin was killed, I called on a hunger strike to get George Zimmerman arrested, right? So I called on that hunger strike to get George Zimmerman arrested, right? And it worked. I didn't eat for 30 days, and it worked. There was an earthquake in Indonesia at the same time, that same day that George Zimmerman was arrested. And, it worked. So, I did a hunger strike for that. There was a lot of people that joined me during that time, and it was good. But at that time, I'm getting progressively more radical with my message, and I'm pushing a message of a black supremacy message. So I had a lot of at that time I had a lot of sponsors. I had pink people were sponsoring me, all this stuff like that, because I had celebrity guests and all that stuff on. But then the sponsorship started falling off. You know what I'm saying? Once the message got a little bit more radical. You know what I'm saying? And talking about, black sovereignty, black supremacy, and all the other stuff. When I started talking about that, and not just Kundalini rising and chakras and all that other stuff, when I start talking about actually, we need our own countries and all that stuff like that, that's when, sponsorships, they start pulling out, people were dissing me on Facebook, they were look, I don't want to, these pink, people that were paying me before, they were like, oh, look, I can't associate myself with that, okay, fine, you know what I'm saying, but I'm gonna still do what I need to do, you know what I'm saying? So, all right, Trayvon Martin happened. Okay, at the end, we saw the verdict, and we all know that was crazy how that whole thing went down. So they just let him go like that. I was like, oh, okay. So that did something to me, man. I didn't have any children at the time. I have a baby girl now, but I didn't have any children at the time, and so I was like, okay. That just changed something in me, and I was like, all right, I'm going to do a hunger strike until we have black liberation. You know what I'm saying? So I called on a worldwide hunger strike again. Excuse me. A lot of people were with me at first. A lot of people were with me at first. And, as the days turned into weeks, and as the weeks turned into months, and the months start turning to 6 months, people dropped off, and I just realized that this hunger strike was really a fast I was doing for myself. The ancestors made me realize that this is for me. This is not for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I just, I just realized it was for myself. So I just continued it. I didn't eat any solid foods whatsoever. I was just drinking liquids, just doing that. You know what I'm saying? And so I just was doing that. I ended up doing it for 801 days, almost 3 years. And so I'm gonna tell you the transition from that. You know what I'm saying? How that happened. So okay, I'm at this point I'm super radical on the show. Too Raw for TV is a super radical thing. We're making Fox News, MSNBC, all these things, because I'm organizing demonstrations at the same time. So I'm hitting these national, and this is the same time, the BLM, the first wave of Black Lives Matter was going on. If you guys remember that, this is the first wave of Black Lives Matters, Mike Brown and all that stuff like that. So, excuse me, y'all. So this is the first wave of Black Lives Matter, and I'm co-organizing demonstrations with them. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, we were making national news like every week. Then I did a movement, and you guys could hashtag this. Matter of fact, you could hashtag this actual demonstration that I did, that I was a part of, that I was actually the organizer of, but we really never put out who the main organizers were, but I was the main organizer, and it's called Fuck Your Flag 9/11. So basically, we were saying, we're going to burn all American flags, burn all flags of imperialisms, clan hoods, Confederate flags, all that on 9/11. You know what I'm saying? Oh, that got people in an uproar. You know what I'm saying? That's when I knew. I also had FBI people and all that stuff like that were not in my personal camp, not in my personal circle, but people that were definitely coming to the events and coming to the meetings and stuff like that, that were FBI people, because the way that it got out like so quick. Like, it got out like we decided we were going to do it. I put it out to the people, and it's like right after this meeting, like CNN and Fox News and all that stuff knew about it. I'm like, how they know about it so quickly? Come to find out later, it was FBI or somebody. It was definitely FBI that was involved in that. Okay, so all right, that happens, right? And so, it's on 9/11. So getting these pink people mad. You know what I'm saying? Had people at that time, people were snatching flags, American flags, off of people's yards, and snatching Confederate flags out of people's yards, and it was getting crazy. You know what I'm saying? 2015, way more radical than over here. This little BLM movement, the second wave, is not as radical. But they try to portray it as, but it's not. It wasn't as radical as what was happening back then. So excuse me, y'all, getting over a little something. But okay, so that's happening, right? So, it's hitting Fox News and all that stuff like that. Actually, Donald Trump tweeted a couple of things that we were doing. You know what I'm saying? He's like, oh, these un-American, these need to be tried, and all that stuff like that. So actually we kind of like, actually, honestly, we sort of put Trump in office, and I know people are gonna be like, oh my goodness, like, but it woke y'all up, didn't it? You know what I'm saying? And that was the main purpose. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm still working my 5-year plan. getting more radical, getting more radical. You know, the last part of my 5-year plan was I wanted America to see the face of who was going to end them. You know what I'm saying? Who was going to end this whole sham. You know what I'm saying? I wanted them to see that. So, you know what I'm saying? So, it's getting more radical, getting more radical. 9/11 hits, right? Now we didn't reveal where we were going to do it in Atlanta until like the week prior. It was a week prior to when when we were going to do it. You know what I'm saying? So actually King Noble, if you guys look at my channel, King Noble had announced where the 9/11 thing was going to be at. Stone Mountain. You know what I'm saying? Actually, that's his highest viewed video ever. You know what I'm saying? It's all when he announces that. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people were watching that. You know what I'm saying? And 9/11 hits. Everybody goes to Stone Mountain. You know what I'm saying? I had went to Stone Mountain separately, and I had to stop. And actually, they wouldn't let me up on the mountain because I was in disguise. I was in a disguise. I had the bald head, bald shave, but at that time I had a dread wig on, and I had some other stuff going on too. I'm not gonna say it on Instagram, but but these people they were doing some racial discrimination. So I had people up on the mountain, and they were kind of mad at me because I wasn't up there. I was like, they're not letting me up this mountain, y'all. They're surrounding us, telling us we can't go up the mountain, all this stuff like that. So, they ended up doing their thing on Stone Mountain, you know what I'm saying? So after that, people were doing stuff worldwide on 9/11, burning flags, all that stuff like that. So, okay, after that, stuff was still hitting Foxy, and then, and people were harassing people I knew, but they didn't have anything. They couldn't find me because I'm all, and I live a whole different way where, I can't be pinpointed. So I got to live a whole different way than other people just to put out this message. You know what I'm saying? They were harassing people I knew. There's one woman who goes by the name of I Empress Sek, or at the time she went by the name of I Empress Sekmet. Shout out to Tazra Path. That's her name right now on Instagram. She was getting harassed by a bunch of white supremacists and all that stuff like that. So me and my men had went out there to protect her for like a week. They were calling, harassing, doing all sorts of stuff. But they didn't do anything while we were out there, while me and my men were out there. They were just over there trying to harass people and stuff like that. So I was like, look, let's be a guest on the show. And also we would shoot a movie about the whole experience, about the whole thing that was happening. We were shooting a movie about it. So I was like, I want you to be a guest on the broadcast. And so she ended up doing a video that was going to be, it was not only just, it not only served as a promotion for her radio interview, but it was also going to be part of the movie that we were doing. And she did this video, and that thing started, it went super viral. As soon as she did it, it hit CNN, Fox News, all that stuff like that. They said she was making threats to white people and police, and the pink people and police. You know what I'm saying? So we actually left her house after we shot that video. Now the video's going viral as soon as we loaded up. We didn't, unbeknownst to us, we didn't know what was happening. You know what I'm saying? We had our own. We had left because we had to tend to that community for a second. So I'm calling her. I'm seeing her on the news. I'm like, oh no, okay, they going over here with it. Channel 2 with it. You know what I'm saying? So Channel 2 is broadcasting like, oh, this woman's making threats to police, and and all this stuff like that. She's 2 miles away from the police station and all this other stuff that they were saying. Excuse me, y'all. But so I was like, okay, that's okay, they're doing it like that. All right, so I call her. I'm like, yo, I was like, look, Empress, you need to get out of there. I was like, you need. She's like, I can't live like y'all. I can't live like y'all. How y'all living? I was like, look, you need to cut out of there. They gonna come to your house, and we all the way down here. I'm like, all of a sudden, the phone goes silent. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh snap. So we end up, you know what I'm saying, rushing to our house. You know what I'm saying? When we get to the house, you know what I'm saying, I see we go in the woods because we see a bunch of police cars and all this other stuff, like all sorts of different vehicles. So we go in the woods and like look out and see what's up. I think I had some binoculars too. We were doing it like I was like, okay. I see one of them like taking they taking off or putting on. It was like they were taking off or putting on the bulletproof vest. I was like, oh, okay. We wait till they pass. And then when we go up there, we went to our door. It was boarded up, completely boarded up. We look on the news after that, and you know we look on the news after that, and they showed her arrest. They showed them arresting her or whatever, and I was like, man, that's crazy. So we ended up doing a whole campaign, you know, to get her out and stuff like that. Okay, but that night, that was Thursday, and you know, Too Raw for TV, we always go live on Thursday. So we went out to her house. I went back and I'm like, I'm still gonna do the show, right? Man, these militia people and pink power terrorists, they had a whole letter writing campaign to Blog Talk, right? Whole letter writing campaign that they had my name. He's doing hate speech and doing all this stuff like that. So they had a lot of people send that via email to Blog Talk. Blog Talk got scared, even though I'm like the #1 show on Blog Talk at the time. You know what I'm saying? Blog Talk got scared. And so they kicked me off the air that night. I couldn't call in. You know what I'm saying? So that was my last. There was no show. They kicked me off. They took off all my broadcasts. You know what I'm saying? So they took off all my broadcasts offline. And and they were like, you know, they said they kicked me off air. So I was off air for 6 months. You know, but that night, that was September 24th, 2015, I had an epiphany. I was like, you know what? And I'm still doing my hunger strike now. I haven't ate anything. This is the 801 day. The 801st day? 801 day? 801 day that I haven't ate any solid foods. And I'm like, you know what? It just dawned on me that, you know, I had an epiphany. I said, black people are liberated. We have a choice now. We're at our fight or flight. You know, it's up to us. You know, we are liberated. That's why they're going so hard at us right now, because we are absolutely liberated. So that day I ate like an orange and a banana. That's how I started. That's how I did that. But then also too, as I was saying, I was clean shaved, right? Clean shaved. I started growing my hair out. And the ancestors told me, you know, because I was I was doing that because they said that I was in monk mode. I was in learning mode. during this whole time I'm in learning mode. You know what I'm saying? Just learning. Now they were like, okay, take what you learned, and now you are the master of what you have learned. You have mastered what you are learned. So now I'm in the state of mastery. That's why I'm growing my hair. And you see everything that's happening with the hair. You know what I'm saying? And I've been growing it since that time. So that's from then to now. Okay, so 6 months later, that's when I got back on Blog Talk. But I want to speak on that 6 months period I wasn't on Blog Talk and the stuff that was happening then, because there was a lot of stuff happening that I can't even mention on Instagram. That's why I'm writing a lot right now, and I'm writing books. And my first book is going to be called 3 Steps to End Racism Right Now. It's going to be available for free on January 20th. So you guys definitely want to be a part of that. Support the writing process. This book is too important. It's too important to sell, because at the end of the book it will end racism. So support the writing process at patreon.com. You can call me Prophet. I am going to have children's books that I'm doing next. I'm doing children's books next. This book is already finished. I'm just waiting on the 20th to release it. That's when the ancestors told me to release it, on the 20th. And I'm still putting different artistic stuff in there, but it's going to be it's a great read that you can read in one setting, and at the end of that book, racism will be over. So putting it out there. And January 9th, that's this Saturday, we're doing vaccination emancipation in Atlanta, and letting people know about the forced vaccinations that they're trying to do on your children in public school. Now, you know I'm an advocate for taking your children out of no school before public school, but they're vaccinating, targeting black children in these public schools. And so we're letting people be aware that it's a bill called Washington Bill 1682, I think. It's on the flyer. But, join us in Atlanta. I'm going to put that on here, too. Join us in Atlanta at 1111 Oak Street. Excuse me. Join us in Atlanta on 1111 Oak Street, which is the West End Park. And we're going to be talking about, the emancipation, vaccination emancipation. Because we, the people, are not going to allow them to force vaccinate our children, and not let us know about it. So that's the West End Park. At 3 p.m. Alright, so join us there. We're going to talk about it a lot more on this channel. And I'm going to be very... Because we got to make a change, y'all. We are making changes, and I'm so glad to be part of this. If you made it here to the new age of black supremacy, then you have won. You know what I'm saying? This 2020 was a video game. You know what I'm saying? You have made it to the last level, last boss, 2021. You know what I'm saying? Of course, I'm not going by their calendar at all, and I encourage other people not to go by their calendar. The real New Year's is on March 24th, of course, and so we're just letting people be aware of that. But this is the new age. This is the age of black supremacy. But I just want everybody to be aware